Welcome to Ruk Jana Nahi Don't You Stop show at Radio Panipuri Chicago with your radio voice Siddesh. This show brings quality entertainment and our diaspora in the same living room from around the world. This special episode has a musical prodigy from Johannesburg, South Africa, Maithili Shome, as my guest. Maithili agreed to share her story, her convictions and her journey with our listeners. पेश खिदमत है एक हीरा अफ्रीका से सुस्वागतम मैथिली তুমি কেমন আছো
আমি ভালো আছি আপনি কেমন আছেন
আমিও ভালো Tell us about your artistic journey Maithili
First of all to begin with thank you so much for having me on your show it feels great to be able to share my musical journey with you all and with you and both the listeners as well and if I were to start my story of my musical journey I would say it runs in my blood I inherited the genes from my mother and my musical journey basically started at the age of 3.5 years old which was when I did my first live performance back in India. So this was basically when we were settled as a family in Pune. So I was told to sing a song and my mother had asked me, what song are you going to sing? She was shocked. And I said, well, Ma, there's this song that I'm listening to because she's also a music teacher herself. So I said, you were teaching this song to your students, a song, Lataji's song, Yashomati Maya se. So I said to her, Ma, I will sing this song. So I went and I sang the song accompanied by a live band and it was completely impromptu, unprepared. And there it was. My parents recognized my interest and my talent and ever since they've nurtured it. So that was basically when I started my training in Hindustani classical music.
Wow.
Moving on, when I turned 5 years old, we moved to South Africa, Johannesburg, and that was quite a shift because as you know, the most of the exposure in Hindustani classical music lies in the hubs of India, whether it's Kolkata, Mumbai, full of music. Luckily, being at home, staying at home with my mother around, I was still able to continue my training and still do so, and currently today. What interests me about South Africa and Johannesburg is everything that they do here is expressed through music, whether it's a sad occasion or a happy occasion. It really got me curious and developed my interest toward the African traditional music as well as gospel music, which is what I incorporate in my music today. And anywhere you go in this country or even in Johannesburg itself, it's just music and music. And over and above that, I have also started training in Western classical music, which is a bit of opera. Wow. And I am currently doing that as one of my main subjects at Wits University as a third-year student.
That's incredible journey. And just to let you know, Maithili, that in this episode, which is just the part one of the episode that we are talking about, all the songs will be of your choice. That's actually an honor.
Savare जैसी धड़कन है बस तू नजर आए रे सांवरे 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 तेरे बिन सोनी सोनी है अखियाँ तेरे बिन लम्हा लम्हा है सर्दियाँ सोना सोना जहाँ लागे रे सांवरे 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 सांवरे
So, my next question, you sing in 20 languages. How did you achieve it?
Well, I started, besides, my interest in music, of course, my passion and my driving force in music, I have had this thing, even at school, I've had this, like very curious nature towards languages. And especially living in I would say, foreign country then and home now, South Africa, I have always, I remember I did Zulu at school till matric. I did Afrikaans as well. And those are such beautiful languages. And of course, coming from Indian roots and an Indian heritage, I have picked up on, your Marathi, Bengali, of course, my mother tongue, Hindi, Gujarati, and Farsi. There's a range of different languages. And I feel like music, for me is universal. So any language you express it in, it always connects to the heart with the listeners. So I think I would say the 20 languages and more, hopefully, as I learn and go forward in my journey, I think that really is a way of reaching out to a really diverse audience.
दोस्तों, मैं कहता ना था ये हीरा है हीरा, हिंदी में भी बात कर लेती है और जुलू और मराठी और पंजाबी और न जाने क्या क्या. Tell me about your Afrin and the ZTV Saregama Pa.
This all Afrin, the ZTV Saregama Pa, all of this happened in 2016. But before I go there, my journey as a ZTV Saregama Pa contestant rather started in 2007 when I was in ZTV Saregama Pa Little Champ, and I was nearly 6.5 years old. Yes, very young.
Wow.
So I was selected, as a contestant among I remember going to auditions and things. I was selected among hundreds and thousands of young children who were all, I tell you, filled with immense talent. And it was quite an experience for me, because at that, at such a young age, to understand, really process everything that's around you and learn from it is quite difficult, because, you're so filled with innocence. You haven't had much of experience or exposure to the world. At that point in time, 2007, I went in and I sang in for 2 episodes, one of the songs being Mera Naam Chin Chin Chu, a Geeta Dutt song, one of my favorites and one of the first songs I ever learned, as well as Lata Ji's Maine Kaha Phulo. So, and my judges at that point in time were Sonu Nigam ji and Suresh Badkar ji. And I learned so much from them. We had lots of mentoring sessions with them, and I mean, it was great. Then I came back in 2016 in the main ZTV Hindi Saregama, and that really was experience, because I was a student then of music. I had grown up, and there were lots for me to learn from. So that experience was very interesting. I had sung one of my again favorite songs, Man Mohana, and my judges then were Sajid Wajid, the late composer, as well as, and that experience was quite great. I learned lots more, even living with the contestants, having lots of practice sessions with them. I mean, great. Coming back home, I got a warm welcome here in Johannesburg, and I was crowned as ZTV Africa's Golden Girl, and that was the year 2016. Yeah, when I made my commercial debut with my band Afrin. That was our launch. Our band's Afrin. Now moving on to Afrin. Afrin, the name itself comes from Africa and India, because which speaks of the music that we do, Afro-Indo fusion music from Africa and from India. So our band has recently formed. It's been 4 years. We do a lot of fusion music, Sufi music, as well as African gospel music, which we put together. And we have tried to create a very unique and different flavor to our music, which, I would say, unfamiliar to South African audiences and many other audiences. We've also performed in India. The band itself was created with like-minded musicians like myself, and I feel so privileged to work with them. One is our music director in the band, Luke van der Merwe. He is an amazing guitarist, also of South African roots, as well as Vivek Purushottam, and he's a multi-talented percussionist, also has performed around the world with various different international artists. He is also a master on the tabla and other Indian percussion, as well as we have our amazing bass player, Fresh, our drummer, David Klaassen, also a household name here in South Africa, as well as Kurt Petrus on keys. We are a team with ideas, full of fresh ideas, and we try to bring a lot of unique music and unique flavors into our music for our audiences.
रत्न प्रभात नुलाली ही नटली टटली जशी उमटली चांदणी रंग महाली मी यवन बिचली पावन तेजली इंद्र सभा भवताली हो छविदार सूरत देखने जनो हिरकने नार गुलजार छविदार सूरत देखने जनो हिरकने नार गुलजार सांगती उमर कंचुकी गोकुड़ी मुखी सुसती भार शेलटी कोणावी कटी कशी हनुवटी नयन तलवारा
मत भरली दादी जिंदगी सिंगाराची कस्तुरी तर बळली दादी तू कही वारा
हाँ ही नटली ठटली जोशी उमटली चांदणी रंग महाली में यौन विचली पावन थिजली इंद्र सभा भवताली
अप्सराली इंद्रपुरी फुलकाली पसरली वारी रत्नप्रभात दुलाली हसली वारी आनंदी रंगमाली अप्सराली पुनव चांदन नाली
I believe this Afrin, and I did not know that it is from named after Africa and India. So you are actually a true crossover artist between the Indian Ocean of those two great nations called South Africa and India, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I've been here 15 years, 16 years in this country, in this beautiful country, South Africa. But हम कहते हैं कि, फिर भी दिल है हिंदुस्तानी. So my roots are still there, but I do, home is South Africa, is Johannesburg.
And this is an incredible journey. But I would not stop myself before I ask you this special question. You performed in front of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as well as you performed as a playback singer in one or two movies. Can you tell us about?
Yes, sure. That, as I said, 2016 was an eventful year for me, and PM Shri Narendra Modi ji had visited South Africa in 2016,
Yeah.
and I was privileged to be on the main lineup of artists and perform for him that evening. I had performed a fusion medley almost with some Sufi and African music. It was so great, just to be in his presence, and it was wonderful. It's one of the experiences that I will remember for the rest of my life. It was an unforgettable one. And moving on to my playback singing journey. So I have actually recorded I recorded one of my first albums with my mother, it was Bengali folk fused with a bit of fusion and thumri, which was basically they were compositions composed by one of my gurujis, Shri Baludattaji from Kolkata.
Okay.
We recorded this album when I was 9 years old, and that was the start of my, my recording journey. Playback singing all happened last year when I was invited by one of, a very well-known film composer, Chris Letcher, Dr.
Okay.
Chris Letcher in Johannesburg. He's based in Johannesburg, and he had invited me. He apparently heard of me from some colleagues. He had said to me, we are going to work on a film where, it's a South African film, but based in a more Indian setting, with Indian families, like
Right.
the local Indian South African families, and it's a story of a girl, tells us about her surfing journey as a young Indian female. So this first film's name was Deep End. So that was also a very nice experience. I could relate to a lot of the main character, and that is how, I express myself even in the music of the the film. And my second film, very close to my heart, is known as by the name of Kandasamys The Wedding, which was a sequel film to Keeping Up with the Kandasamys. Also very, very well-known movie, and the movie did very, very well. I sung a song there because you asked me a question, relating to the 20 languages earlier.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this song was sung in Tamil.
Really?
And yes, and it was such a wonderful experience. I actually I had to adapt the lyrics in Tamil. There was a poem that we took the lyrics from, and it was just, the journey was so incredible. And whenever I look back to it, I just smile, because I know like those moments have taught me a lot that goes a long way in my career now. So that song was in Tamil, and it was a beautiful love song called Unnale Anbe, and it was set in the actual wedding scene of the film. So yeah, a very special film. And this film went on to be nominated. This specific song actually went on to be nominated in the South African Traditional Music Award, SATMA Award.
This is an incredible journey in such a small life that you have. I believe this may not have been possible without the blessings and support of your parents.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. I think I consider myself so fortunate and blessed to have the parents I have, the mother I have who has been, who has been my guru, and my father who works tirelessly for me. And really, he's always told me, both my parents tell me just to follow my dreams and follow my heart. And that is what I've been doing. And that is music. So I am so blessed to be able to have them around to really support me in everything that I do.
तो ये थी म्यूजिकल सेंसेशन फ्रॉम इंडिया एंड साउथ अफ्रीका आपके साथ आपके संगीत को इनरिच करती हुई. आई विश हर मोर ग्लोरीज फ्रॉम बोथ साइड्स ऑफ द इंडियन ओशन.
Hence proved again, रुक जाना नहीं, don't you stop.